government. 250 days later, I sit on the seat talking to you going, we have been working hard on our domestic aspect, but we are going to have a significant gap. We have had conversations with international partners. The Prime Minister and I were in Thailand, the Philippines, Singapore. We've entered into high-level MOUs around the ability to put in place Article 6 mechanisms to be able to deal with trading of credit. But I can tell you what, back in New Zealand and in voter land and in our communities, when I stand up and say, guess what, I'm going to write a cheque for $4 billion of your taxpayer money to some country overseas, people go, I sort of want my hospital and I want my healthcare over that. I love it, but I sort of want other stuff. And so the political reality of writing a cheque to someone overseas for benefits that will be achieved overseas is sort of nice, but I don't think it's realistic, and hence why the conversation from a government point of view is we need to do everything possible in order to reduce our domestic emissions at a profile that doesn't completely decimate our economy, i.e. protects and allows us to rebuild our economy at the same time. But we also need to open up options and mechanisms so that we do have those levers should we need to deploy them in time. We've got 65 months between today and 2030. 65. It's not that long, and we understand that. And so, we're trying to give ourselves options depending on what happens over the next year or so.
Just finally on that though, to get clear on the moral and the reputational side of things, you want that current gap significantly closed by 2030, or would you feel the need to pay up, so to speak?
Oh, look, the coalition government and I chair a group of ministers in terms of climate change, or ministers that have responsibility to deliver emissions reduction. We are absolutely categorically focused on ensuring that we minimise that gap to the greatest point possible, and all options are on the table in the context of us being able to do that. The challenge is, and I've got to be realistic and upfront, even if we did everything that I could do today in the next 65 months, because time is my biggest challenge, the reality that what can you do in 65 months? Because we didn't inherit a plan when we came in that would have hit that target. Let's be really clear of that, other than writing a cheque overseas. And the reality in a deficit situation, in a fiscal situation, is politically and I think just realistically, that is not the option that the majority of Kiwis want their government to be doing.